Hey, Saturday morning, and I am about to cook us some breakfast. I'm still a little sleepy-eyed, but I decided to go ahead with the video anyway. And I'm making a sausage gravy. So I thought I'd bring you with me. Got a roll of sausage that I'm going into my iron skillet with and cook it up. I'm just gonna brown it, get it all crumbly. We're just frying up our sausage. I don't like big chunks of sausage. Now we're gonna keep the grease on this sausage. I'm not gonna drain it off because that is what I'm gonna use to make my roux, so that my gravy is thick. Okay, there's something I want to show you. You know, I said I like my sausage to be crumbled up really fine. I don't like big chunks of sausage. And this is one of my favorite kitchen tools. It's just a little handy food chopper. You've probably seen me chop my pecans with it, and I just use it in the kitchen a good bit instead of breaking out bigger pieces of equipment. And so I will pound my sausage or ground beef, ground turkey. I use ground turkey a lot, and when you fry it up, it just gets chunkier, and it's just hard to keep it broken up. So see how much finer that did? Got my sausage all nice and brown and crumbly, and I don't have a lot of grease in here, and I like to mix the flavors of my sausage and some bacon grease. This is my mason jar that I keep in my fridge with my bacon grease, so I'm going to go in with a spoonful of that grease. It just makes the flavor of it a little bit better. Yeah, don't ever throw away your bacon grease. You can use that for cooking. We're gonna put some flour. I'm gonna start with just a little bit. This is all-purpose flour. I'm gonna sprinkle in and stir it around. What I'm trying to do, this is what's gonna thicken your gravy and absorb that grease. You don't want a greasy gravy. So we'll start with a little bit of flour. If you put too much to start with, it just won't thicken right. A little bit more flour. I want to tell you, you got to cook this flour for a little while, or you'll have a real pasty gravy. I don't really know how to describe it, but technically we're making a roux. And you know how when you're making a roux, like I showed you with the tomato gravy that I cooked, or if you're making a roux for a gumbo, you got to cook that flour for a little bit and make it brown, and that's how you know your flour is cooked enough in your grease, is because it turns brown. So I'm watching for the same thing in this gravy. Now my sausage makes it a little bit harder to see, but on the sides of my pan, let me bring you over here. And on the sides of my pan, how you can see the grease and the flour starting to cook, I'm just going to keep stirring that around until all that flour and grease gets brown. And I'm scraping that pan as I go. So we're going to cook this for a little while. Again, it takes just a little bit of time to make a good gravy. At church Wednesday night, we had the best service. They're all good, but I really enjoy it. We had service in the gym. You can spread out really good. One year we're going to look back and watch these videos, and we're going to think, why were they spreading out in the gym? COVID has changed our life, it has. But Pastor talked about blessings, and have you ever looked around and wonder, gosh, why some people seem to be more blessed than others? But one of the things that I really took away from it is, have you encountered people in your life that they're not going to like anything you do, regardless of what it is? I guess I really just should ask the question, whenever something good happens to somebody, do you feel good for them? Are you excited with them as they are walking through that blessing? I pray today, Lord, let me be able to not be jealous of people when good things happen to them, or let me not compare their blessings to mine. I think that's when you get into a dangerous mindset of comparison. And I think Facebook has aided that a lot. Pretty much, because we look at each other's life on Facebook and think how perfect it is. But people on Facebook, you're not showing you all the struggles and mistakes and challenges they face. And I just want to, Lord, every day, help me be excited for the people that good things happen to. Okay, I've been standing here stirring this because do you see how I've got all my fat absorbed and it's starting to be brown? And now I'm gonna add milk. Any milk will do, whatever you've got in your fridge. I'm gonna start slowly pouring it in, a little bit at a time. I don't know how much. It really just depends on how much sausage you've got, how much fat was in your sausage, and how much flour. Sorry. I can't think. I like to get a whisk. It helps me break those gravy bits in with the sausage. And that is what you're doing, going around and around your pan and to get all mixed in. And once you get it all blended together, we'll taste it and we'll salt and pepper it from there. I go heavy on the salt and pepper in my gravy. If you don't have enough, I'm gonna go in with a little bit so it can be cooking with it, and then we'll taste it. Okay, see how I'm getting that all blended? It's a little bit thick, so I'm just adding more milk. It's a big pot of gravy, and I'm gonna get some biscuits in the oven in just a second. And we're gonna slow simmer this, and you can make this as thin or thick as you like your gravy. All right, make sure you taste it, get your salt and pepper right, and I think I'm gonna add a little pepper. This is cayenne. So I didn't have spicy sausage, so I'm just gonna sprinkle a little cayenne pepper. I like my gravy with a little kick. Again, you can get your spicy sausage and get that, but I like a little heat on my gravy. You can leave that off if you don't want it. Needs a little more salt. It's a big pot of gravy. I know that looks like a whole lot of salt, but I got a bunch of gravy happening in this skillet. So you just keep working your gravy until you've got the flavors you want. And you have to do this. You're not gonna be able to just pour your milk in or your flours. You're gonna have lumpy gravy. It's gonna taste like flour. You're gonna get a good bite and bite into flour if you don't get it incorporated really well in there. That's why I like a whisk. Okay, I wanted you to see my sausage gravy. My gravy like this. You know, there's some restaurants you might go to and order a white gravy and it's real stiff. I like it to be a little bit looser. So that's the consistency I prefer. Again, you're just, after you brown your sausage, sprinkle your flour, stay with it, stir it till it gets brown. It may not look like a lot of grease in there. Wouldn't be adding a whole lot of grease, or you're gonna have to put a lot of flour and it's gonna be too thick. Your gravy's gonna be too thick if you get too much flour in your roux. So here is sausage gravy. We're gonna make some biscuits. Okay, I just took the biscuits out of the oven and let me show you. They look really good. You know, biscuits turn out a little different every time you make them. These look extra buttery. I'm not sure. I'm gonna split it open like that. Joel's not home yet. I might have to have some now though. See how good our gravy looks? I'm gonna spoon some gravy over that and dig in. I'll scramble Joel some eggs. I really didn't want any eggs this morning, but it's a lot of gravy. See? It's good stuff.